And so the great friendly fade of 2025 continues. Launched on January 1st by Joey Badass, it's still going on, and I'm going to talk about the most recent events, the most recent battles in this drôle de guerre, in this funny little war. I'm going to be talking about the Red Bull Cypher, with Big Sean, Absol, and Joey Badass, and this new song by Ray Vaughn, Hoe Era. It's a beef. But it's a vegetarian beef, y'all. It's a Beyond Burger beef, and I am here for it. Okay, I am here for the friendly fade. I am here for the peace, the love, and the artistry and the competition. I am really here for artists who are brave enough. Like when you box. I'm not a boxer. That might not shock you. But if you box and all you do is defend, you can never get a shot in, right? Now the good thing is people can't land blows on you, but also you can't land any blows on them. So you gotta open up your flank and you gotta take a shot. And all these artists who are jumping into this arena and getting ready to have this kind of beef, they're going to be insulted, they're going to be dragged out. They are doing the competition. They're not just sitting there defending, they are actually striking and sparring, and I love it. It's the happiest offshoot of the great beef of 2024 as that turns into weird farce with these lawsuits. Just whatever, whatever all that madness is, we get to have this nice reminder that hip hop is a competitive art. We get to have attention on lyrics. The public has developed a taste for good food. All right, we were used to very pacifying music, and now we want electrifying music again. And the competition, which is at the heart of American culture, that is at the heart of hip hop culture. That competition has come back, and it's not on the field of sales, it is on the field of rhymes, and we get to watch them go after it. Now, listen, I'm an East Coast guy. I've been favoring Joey Badass in general on this whole thing, but I'm going to be calling balls and strikes. I'm going to be a fair referee on this whole round here. I'm going to be attributing, who has the best verse, who has the best song, and if you haven't watched other videos, I'm not doing this immediately. I did that on purpose. You got to go watch your Justin Hunts, your Curtis Kings, your Robs Markman. They've all put out great stuff. If you want to get into sort of like each song individually, I'm not really going to be going bar for bar. I'm going to be more talking about this kind of holistically into this further entry. Like, what does this all mean? Not song by song, but what does its existence mean? We ain't got to get personal. This is a friendly fade. You should keep it that way. That is what our Lord and Savior Kendrick Lamar said last year during Euphoria, and that's how it feels. It is still going. It still feels like a friendly fade. So who won? Who won this round? Well, listen, I'm the youngest son of 4 boys. And my mom was an expert at whatever game we were playing, making sure it always ended up as a tie. All right? You do not want to watch me with the brother who's closest to me in age. When we play board games together, it is a nightmare. That's not what the rule says. No, no, no. Why would a zombie not just go straight through the window? I don't know, man, but that's what it says in the... No, no. Like that whole thing. So my mom would make sure that every game ends in a tie. And I hate to tell you, I hate to be the guy to do this. God bless my mom's soul. This is going to be a tie. This is going to be a tie, but not because no one was better than anyone else, but because everybody won. All 4 participants in this round are absolute winners, in addition to, of course, us, the public, getting to enjoy the competitive art of hip-hop made the way the competitive art of hip-hop should be made. And part of what's so great, shout out to Read My Soul, one of the greatest commentators on hip-hop on YouTube. He's been talking for quite a while about the missing middle class, the middle class of rappers who are neither superstars nor underground. And I've been obsessed with this as well, which is why I've been trying to focus on rappers like Ray Vaughn, like Ab-Soul, like Big... Hey, wait a minute. Every single person who's in this beef is in that middle class of rap. And this rising tide is raising all boats. That's why it's winning. Because all these people who are actually good at rapping, they may not be as good at marketing, at selling themselves, at selling millions of records, at having brand deals. But the actual thing that we love about rap music, which is rapping, they are as good as anybody at it, and they are actually getting time to shine. So let's start off with the Red Bull freestyle. First of all, it's one shot. Have you tried? I mean, seriously, I'm not a rapper. I've written a couple raps in my life, but they were all based around my dominance in Mario Kart as the character called Bowser. So I've never really rapped. I don't think I'd be good at it, but it's really hard. It's really hard to rap, and in particular, rapping these verses, which all three of these artists just wrote very clearly, very recently, and then making sure that's all in one cut, making sure that they don't mess up and they interact with each other. It's an amazing performance, just as a pure performance. And the filming going around in the spiral is engaging and well made. And let's not forget the production on this. Who else won but Python P, the producer of much of Ab-Soul's Soul Burger, which was one of the best albums of the year last year, which is, a masterpiece of a rap album that came out last year within the last 12 months. And here we have the primary producer, I think he had the most producing credits, making this beat. It has a little bit of like the Wu-Tang Eastern style strings, nice bass, good hard drum beat. It's the proper bed. Posse cuts are tricky, y'all. Posse cuts are tricky. It's not that easy to make a song that can go for 6 minutes where people don't get bored and doesn't have a chorus. It's not that easy. He managed to do it. This beat carries the weight. So why did Big Sean win? Well, no one thinks that he won. But when I first listened to the song, his verse was my favorite. Initially, like before I kind of went in and dug in and figured out what all the disses were and all the side shots and all the meanings, just as a verse, it's a wonderfully well-made verse with this wisdom of the Midwest. This whole thing was so well constructed to have the East Coast and Midwest represented, and we have this wise man from the Midwest who knows how to manage just dispensing wisdom. Truth is, if you wake up hating life, then you hate life. No, then you hate yourself. It's wisdom. Truth is, wake up hating life you do, then yourself do you hate. It's straight up Yoda wisdom right there. But then mixing up all sorts of fun battle rap style. You bums could probably teach a master class on taking L's. A lot of y'all confuse tough skin for having tattoos. Thank you so much. Tattoos are just a thing you buy, everybody. I know, but come on now. My drive back, the bitch on cruise control like Katie Holmes. It's an old reference. It's an old code, but it still checks out. Another Star Wars reference for you. If you get that Star Wars reference, tell me in the comments. This is the Always Positive New Music Review Show hosted by a French professor. I don't think the Empire had Wookiees in mind when they designed her Chewie. Been flipping out on this bitch since it was camera phones. B.I.G. minus the East and West beef because his name is Big Sean, but without the East and West beef, and he's like B.I.G. I'm the Don, you gotta kiss me from right to left cheek. What a beautiful little detail. What an awesome, provocative. So he manages to come out this whole great verse. He stakes his claim as essentially Switzerland. It's like, hey, I'm not East Coast, I'm not West Coast. We're just still doing awesome stuff out here in the not New York, the not California. And he's able to stake his claim, be funny and be friendly. And then he passes the mic to Ab-Soul. Why did Ab-Soul win? Ab-Soul wins because when we look back at this whole thing, I think we're going to see this verse as the absolute cornerstone of the entire thing. This was what made sure it was going to remain a friendly fade. This was what ensured that we are going to keep the peace. Every time I talk about this beef, I usually get some comment like, oh great, some white guy who wants black people to be in conflict. I don't want black people to be in conflict. I want hip-hop to happen, and I don't care who's in it. If Eminem can join in, Action Bronson can join in as far as I'm concerned, Alchemist can join in as far as I'm concerned. I don't care. It's not black or white. It's hip-hop. It's the competitive art of hip-hop. That's what I want to see. And I don't want to see the violence. And I've enjoyed this so much because it's so clear how much effort is being put into keeping it a friendly fade, but without Ab-Soul, right here in the dead center of in the middle of the year, the middle of this song, he just emphasizes the peace. He attacks and insults Joey Badass to his face, while at the same time giving him props. He's talking about how he has a tattoo, that represents and respects his former crew. Like, that's how close he is with Joey Badass. He's the perfect person to keep the peace. You need him here. He ain't got a clue of what I do, of what I turn into when I enter the booth. Neither do I. That's that great Ab-Soul thing. He's just such an awesome guy. He's such an awesome guy and an awesome presence because he does seem like sometimes he's uncomfortable with how talented he is. And he's just a little bit unsure of what he's doing, even though he's doing it just so well. Joey, you put me in a sticky predicament. The way that he delivers this line, I had to show solidarity to my syndicate. It's great. He just makes it very clear. He's always going to be against Joey and with Joey at the same time. And that's how it has to be. And that's how all these things could be. Just be lucky that Soul ain't stepping in. All y'all would have had to shoot. Because it's true. Realistically, I think Ab-Soul is the best lyricist out of everybody in here. I'm not even sure it's that close. Now, his style is maybe a little more idiosyncratic. Maybe not everybody would feel that way. But Jesus Christ. I would not, like... I would be, if I were a rapper, I would be as scared of Ab-Soul as I am of Kendrick. I think I really would be, because he's just so creative and so relentless, but that's not who he is. That's not his style. He's going to be the peacekeeper. And there's not even any fight here. There's not even any struggle. That's what's so great. He doesn't come in here just trying to say, hey, everyone get along. He doesn't have to, because it hasn't escalated. This is going to ensure that it doesn't. And then Joey Badass comes in. Why did Joey win? Well, okay. He won because he has some awesome rhymes, but really he did it because it worked, okay? He's been, you know, when you have like a thing of Scotch tape, you know, that clear tape, and sometimes when you peel it, like it doesn't pull off cleanly, and you have to like dig with your fingernails to try to get it to pull so you can actually have a full piece of Scotch tape. This whole year, he's been trying to get this thing really going. He's been want to be starting something the whole year. Want to be starting something, and everyone's sort of like, yeah, you know, there'll be some responses. There've been some good responses. There've been some, but like this really feels like finally he's got a full piece of tape. He's unraveling the entire sweater, right? He's just pulling and pulling, and it finally took. The fire is burning. How many more metaphors can I come up with? I think I'm done. The fire has taken, and we now have it burning. And he puts himself as the king of New York, as the top of New York, because still no one else is trying to take it. I think, as I said in January, he's trying to do two things. He's trying to start a friendly beef between East Coast and West Coast to prioritize, to continue this, hopefully not just a trend, but a cultural shift towards more lyrical rap. And he is trying to put himself at the top of New York. And he's still doing that, but this is putting the battle on the books. There's something about this that just feels like it's really putting it on the books. And he does the thing where he goes after Ab-Soul while also respecting him at the same time. I'm the one who absolute... Beautiful lyric. They obsolete, can't compete because I'm too elite. Funny, cool, awesome rhymes, you know? That's awesome. That's what I want. That's the kind of rhymes that you'll remember. You know, it's not out like a light, like a light, out, like a light, like a light, like a light, out, like a light, like a light, like a light. I'm sorry, I have to turn the page. Out like a light, like a light, like a light. Okay? It's the obsolete can't compete because I'm too elite. That's it. That's what we want. That Rakim style rapping, even though he's going to get hit for trying to sound like Rakim. The whole reference to I could put a bad boy on death row, and it's weird they're both in jail. It's like this historical understanding. There's a lot of this whole beef that is representing and respecting the past beefs that have come before. And I think that's cool. And I think what's really especially cool about it is the way that it's historical references, but they're not going too deep. It's very clear what they're saying, and it is weird that Suge Knight and Diddy are both in jail. They still... must have forgotten what Dot said on Control. There's still a bunch of sensitive rappers in their pajama clothes. Going back to the Control verse, going back to the... what was the cipher? The BET cipher with Kendrick kind of going after everybody. And that's what he's doing. He's making it very clear. He's just trying to keep going. He's just doing what the man told him. Kendrick said, hey, everybody, make better rap. And Joey Bada said, okay, how do I do it? Well, I don't know. Why don't you be competitive? And now he's competitive. Thin line between the trolls and the weirdos. This is a good lyric. It's not that flashy. I haven't seen other people talking about it, but it's a really funny way to say it. There's a thin line between the trolls and the weirdos. I mean, that goes hard. Now, a funny thing, if you haven't watched Justin Hunt's video on this, punch yourself in the face, and then watch his video, and he'll tell you to punch yourself in the face too. So, maybe work on left side, right side, doesn't matter. Where he points out that on the song Backpack, Daylight basically predicts all of the disses against him, and that is true. He does do a very good job, and it's very clear. It's because Daylight is like, he's a battle rapper, so he knows all of the attacks that could come at him. But I don't think he was ready for some of these things. Okay, I didn't see Justin mention this. I haven't watched everyone's commentary on this, but he talks about Copernicus. He talked about Copernicus. Copernicus, the guy who figured out the heliocentric model of the universe. I mean, he wasn't the first person, but he was the person who really was able to explain it the best. Heliocentric. Did you know that it used to be against the law to say that the earth goes around the sun? You had to say it went the other way around. So this idea, this scientific idea, is showing he's going one more step beyond the eclipse bars. He's going to Copernicus. You move on my time. Very funny. No fly zone say, oh, is that right? I ain't got to book no flight. I'm still going to pack light. I don't think he could have predicted that. Okay, Joey delivered a couple standard haymakers, a couple standard punches and jabs, but then, he did a tiger uppercut, No one's ready for the tiger uppercut, but there was a little tiger uppercut right in there. And then Ab-Soul comes on to make sure it's all okay as it all escalated, as Joey escalated it, and we see Ab-Soul. Because what's going to happen, right? No matter how mad you are on the West Coast, you're seeing Ab-Soul hugging this man. No one doesn't respect Ab-Soul. No one doesn't respect his history, his place, his perspective, right? You can't do that. So he's making sure everyone knows it's a friendly fade and saying shooter's going to shoot. Rapper's going to rap. So you think it's all over. And the funny thing is, Red Bull contacted me. They sent me an email like a day before saying like, hey, you might want to cover this. But like they didn't send it to me early or anything. So it's like, okay, cool. Thank you. I'll look forward to that. If anyone here from Red Bull is watching, I'll talk more about Red Bull later. Then we get the Ray Vaughn song, Hoe Era. Now this is great. This is great because he responded within one day. And remember how I said everybody wins? Everybody wins because everybody is active. Everybody is an active rapper. Everybody is releasing. Joey is getting ready to release. Ab-Soul released one of the best albums of the year. I assume Big Sean's coming out. And like 2 weeks ago, probably the best rap album of the year was released by Ray Vaughn, The Good, The Bad, The Dollar Menu. If you haven't watched my video on that, don't punch yourself in the face. Buy yourself like a Kit Kat bar and only eat 3 of them and throw out the 4th one, okay? That's what you do if you haven't seen my Ray Vaughn video. But it's just great, just great. And this whole thing is a reminder, oh, right, I remember that. That was a couple weeks ago. It's promo and it's a reminder of what he is. And it's great because he got, the term is sunned, right? That's the hip hop term for whenever people treat you like you are their son, like you treat them with disrespect, like they should not be taken seriously, like they're just little nobodies. So Joey Badass sunned Ray Vaughn. But fuck it, shine a light on him. I'm a light Ray, implying that Ray doesn't have any motion, right? That he doesn't have any motion. That there's no light on him. So he's going to lower himself to insult Ray Vaughn. Now, how can I say this all in a nice way? If you need attention, tell Pop he's going to pay. Look what I said. It's a little pup to a canine. It's game time. It's awesome, man. You could not be more provocative. Like just literally saying about this man who released one of the best rap albums of the year. Who are you? who do you think you are, you little puppy? How do I say this in a nice way? God. So when Ray goes after him, he earns all of it. I mean, seriously. I mean, Joey Bada spent like an entire song dissing Daylight, and like that barely hit. Because what, Copernicus and Pack Light, that's all generic. This is just like you're not in the same league, pal. You're on the Rochester Red Wings trying to play the Los Angeles Dodgers, And then the thing that I think is really important is the satire. Now this is perhaps the most incendiary song because it's satire of East Coast rap. A hoey, is you stupid or you dumb? I haven't seen other people mention this. I'm sure they have, but I haven't seen it. This is a Tekashi 6ix9ine reference because there was a time where Tekashi 6ix9ine was actually the biggest rapper out of New York. Remember that song Gooba? Remember that song you pretended not to like, but you kind of liked it before he went State's Witness, Come on. Are you stupid? Are you dumb, stupid, or dumb? Remember that? That's what this is. Are you stupid or are you dumb? It's a reference to it because the whole thing is making fun of New York's inability to make great rap, which, of course, if you look at the last year, West Coast rap, we got Ab-Soul, we got Kendrick, we got Ray Vaughn, we got everything that's going on TD. Hell, even that new Lefty Gunplay project is really good, Pop in it screaming about 20v1. Okay, 20v1. This is the other thing that Ray Vaughn's doing, and this is a very systematic approach. Okay, so Joey Badass sunned Ray Vaughn. Ray Vaughn Drake's Joey Badass. The 20v1 line, that comes from Push Ups by Drake. Going after Conductor Williams, who made the Fighting Irish freestyle. Going after Associates for being sketchy and on drugs, going after CJ for being on drugs, going after Party for playing with his nose now. He also goes after CJ for using CapCut. I swear to God, this is because of Curtis King. I swear to God, Curtis King was making fun of him for using CapCut. I didn't even know what it meant, but we know Ray Vaughn watches Curtis King. We know that. Everyone on the West Coast, I mean, everyone in the world should be watching Curtis King, but I'm sure everyone on the West Coast, and the West Coast especially, watches Curtis King. So he attacks him, and then he attacks him for being just an actor. He is totally casting Joey into the Drake role and then attacking him. It's so perfect and wonderful, because let's make fun of Drake without the whole, PDF stuff. Hey, Hoey, is you finished or are you done? Which, is a reference to the Birdman on Breakfast Club. But I think also just the style. It's very Takeshi 6ix9ine. It's very Ice Spice. It's very dumb New York late 2000 teens rap music, early 2020s. We don't give a fuck where you from, where you from. Same thing with this post-chorus. Okay, what's up? Shut up. Okay, what's up? Shut up. Oh my God, what's that from? Wait, that's from something else. Okay, what's up? Shut up. Okay, now. Okay, that's from some other rap thing. Wait, I have to pause it. I have to see if I can find this. I got to pause this recording. All right, yeah, I looked it up. It was Trick Daddy. It's basically the same thing. So obviously Trick Daddy's not one of these New York figures, but I think it's intentional, and I think it's catchy and funny, and I think he sort of gets the whole idea. Like, the song has that West Coast mustardy style bouncy beat that's so popular right now because of Kendrick, and he can realistically make it without having to sound like he's faking the quote funk, because he's not, because this is authentic to his style, authentic to his region. And there's just so many funny he's so funny. I mean, I talked about the last album as an sometimes it sounds so silly what I do, as an Italian neo-realist movie. That's how I saw his album. Check out my review if you haven't seen it. I've already said that once. But I wasn't anticipating the humor. Gucci trash bands just for you to put them raps in. But every verse, Hoey talking about I'm back. We don't give a fuck about where you was or where you at. Oh God, that we, implying it's everybody, that nobody cares, going after his insecurity, and just not for nothing. Bullets flying by sounds like on the Neptunes. Pew pew. That is what the Neptunes sound like. That's awesome. And the strange fruit reference. I mean, there's hard. And then there's making a strange fruit reference. There's casually throwing in one of the greatest poems set to music in the history of the written word about lynchings in the American South. Of course, I just think of the Kanye song, Blood on the Leaves, because, I've listened to that song a lot more than I've listened to the Nina Simone song but whoa, or Billie Holiday. I mean, everyone sung it. It's just hard. And then he ends with the hardest hit. He had y'all fooled like he'd do it for the sport. I'm Snoop Dogg kicking over his little fort. Okay, so making reference, again, a lot of this is historical, going back to New York, New York, the song where Snoop and the Dog Pound, sort of reinterpolated Grandmaster Flash's New York, New York, and then ran around and pretended to crush all the buildings in New York. One Crazy Summer style. Summer School? What 80s movie? I think it was Summer School. You tell me in the comments. If you know that reference, get your colonoscopy just like I did in January, okay? It's important. Take care of yourself. If you remember when Mark Harmon was young and hot, get a colonoscopy. Anyways, the Snoop Dogg thing, and the funny thing was, I was pretty young at that time. I wasn't paying as much attention to West Coast rap when that happened. So I mainly knew about that from Money, Cash, Hose, Money, Cash, Hose, the song by Swizz Beatz and having DMX and Jay-Z on it, where he talks about the New York's been reeling since Snoop came through and crushed the buildings and hurt the feelings, right? Like, talking about this as being a critical moment in the history of the East Coast, West Coast beef. Bitch, you washed, you ain't carry no torch. You let Ice Spice turn into the king of New York. What the fuck? It's just that line. You let Ice Spice turn into the king of New York. This line is killing Joey, but totally doing his job. Joey Badass is trying to single-handedly resuscitate his rap career because he's more famous as an actor now, and resuscitate New York. And it's not enough for him to say, I'm the king of New York. We now need to have a West Coast guy come out and call it like it is. The king of New York is Ice Spice right now. Ooh, can that be the place that created this art? Is that possible? I mean, build onto that the fact that the Knicks are still going to lose the series, everybody. Oh, you thought going down 3-1 and losing our best player meant that we're not going to still win this series? This is never going to come back to bite me. We're going to the finals. I'm telling you. Celtics are going to the finals. I don't care about JT's ankle, about Kristaps Porzingis' mystery disease. I don't care what it is. I do like that Brunson guy, though. God damn, have you seen that guy play basketball? He's unreal. What's up with these basketball players who don't seem like they're that good, just like looking at them, and then they're so good? Anyways, where was I? I was talking shit about the Knicks. Right. So, in reality, I hope this sparks more attention and more reaction from New York than Joey Badass was able to do. Again, he's poking New York with a stick saying, do something. And are they going to do something? But it's all love. It's all love. It's all just hip hop. It's all a competitive art. Screwface Jean, who's done awesome videos on this as well, he always says hip-hop is a competitive sport. I agree, except I don't think it's a sport. I think it's an art. I mean, it's both, right? But I really love the competitive nature and the fact that it's one of the few, if not the only, truly competitive art. And this is just a breath of fresh air, and we get to think about it and talk about lyrics and killer-ass rhymes and punchlines. And I laughed so hard at the Ice Spice line. And then I watched Justin Hunt's video, and he laughed just as hard as I did, and then I'm laughing. Thanks to Justin Hunt's love of Eastbound and Down, I've started rewatching that show again. So I'm like, I didn't laugh as that. This one line from Ray Vaughn made me laugh harder than La Flama Blanca. As a final note, I want to talk about being a corporate shill. So I'm not going to be a corporate shill for Red Bull, but I will say they are very good at what they do. The Austrian energy drink company is very smart at using youth culture and coolness. I first heard about them through Formula One racing way back in the day. They sponsored a team called Sauber, which was the team I liked the most. Like a guy named Quick Nick Heidfeld, way back in the day, like 2001. And I was like, oh, what's this? And I actually got into drinking Red Bull because I supported the team that they sponsored back then. And whatever, it's a sugary drink. But ever since, they've just been going for so long. And I hate to say this, everybody, but Red Bull. So what happened in America? What happened in America is that we only prioritize forms of art that are remunerative, that make money. Okay, if something doesn't make money, we don't care about it. It just doesn't exist. So hip hop is fascinating because it's 4 components. In the beginning, it's 4 components: DJing, MCing. Those are the 2 graffiti and hip hop, graffiti and b-boying, right? Breaking. But you can't really make money on breaking. Not really. You can't really make money on graffiti. Not really. It's even hard to make money just as a DJ. MCing is where all the money goes, and that's what got supported, and that's why in many other countries of the world, countries like France, sorry, I just offended a whole bunch of people from Marseille who don't want to be considered French. Countries like France, they have a stronger hip hop community because they are less money driven. But using capitalism, Red Bull figured out that they can have DJing competitions, that they can be the #1 name in DJing competitions, the #1 name in b-boying and b-girling competitions. And now with this is now these spiral things. I'm excited for the 2026 spiral. This is going to be a new event on the hip-hop calendar, and it's right there. Hell, even the best MF Doom interview is a Red Bull thing, Seriously. So, I'm not going to drink that stuff because I don't drink. It's made with bull urine. So I'm not, hey, if you're watching this and you're from Red Bull, sorry, I just gave you a shot. No, it's not made from. That's a joke. It's not. Taurine is not technically bull urine. But anyways, so what am I talking about? All right. Well, until next time. There's the camera.